How's it going, everybody? It is me, Shane, and I'm here to give you another Digimon Ghost Game episode review and recap. Today's episode is episode 43, also known as Red Eyes, or is it Red Eye? I forget which one. It's one or the other, which doesn't make any difference because, oh boy. But either way it goes, please do not forget to hit that like button. Leave a comment down below. I would love to hear what you think of the, not just a show, but my review, my views on things, and things of that nature. I enjoy engaging with each and every last one of you, but do not forget, hit the subscribe button. And if you aren't new here, and even if you are new here, hit that notification bell that's right next to it so you can get notified of more videos just like this one. Apologize for the fumbling. Why don't we just jump right on into it? I will say this about this episode. I knew who it was going into this when I saw the previews last week. I was like, a bunch of eyes, Mon. I wonder what Digimon this could be. And I might as well just go ahead and spilleth the beans. It's Eyesmon. You know, that new Digimon that was actually introduced in Digimon Adventure 2020. Ka-chow. This is not very good. There we go. It also has two other modes, funny enough. It has that weird shade one, and then this one here called the scatter mode. Now, if you've seen my Digimon Adventure 2020 reboot review with Eyesmon, you would know how much of a threat this guy was. Because I remember this thing had peaked up and popped up around. This one had no voice or anything, no personality, just an evil force. And it was a major antagonist because this thing made a digital facsimile of Tokyo, I believe it's Tokyo, or Shinjuku, maybe Shinjuku, and it was messing with Tai and Middle Greymon. It took Yamato and Joe to come in with Zudomon. They had to fight this thing. And then when everyone thought they beat this, now here's the funny part. Those were ultimates fighting this champion level Digimon. When this thing evolved, it turned into Orochimon. Oh my god. Actually, it wasn't just them. It was Lilymon and Alter Kabuterimon. Actually, I think it took everyone coming in there to fight Eyesmon, and then he evolved into Orochimon. And Orochimon wasn't the same pushover was from the original Digimon Adventure, and further turned into Nidhoggmon. This thing was going to cause a nuclear meltdown of not just the area they were in the digital world, but actual Tokyo. I'm pretty sure it was Tokyo. Yeah, it was Tokyo. An actual Tokyo. Holy crap. So, what's going on with this thing? Well, in the intro, there is a woman who starts to... She's typing. I guess she's trying to look something up. She gets all sad. And all of a sudden, the eyes pop up, and then they start appearing all over her, and her eyes become red. And I'm talking Eye Guy from the original Power Ranger. I'm talking about Eye Guy, the Yu-Gi-Oh card with all the eyes. Actually, no, that's 1,000 eyes. 1,000 eyes and 1,000 eyes restrict. I'm talking Hiei using the Jigon and having all the eyes on him and Yu Yu Hakusho. If you know, you know. That's what's happening to this girl. And apparently she found out about the hacker man. I have no clue what that's supposed to mean, but there's a pattern between all of the said victims. So next, we had a blonde woman who's starting to question two people, and she's asking them about couples and stuff like that. And it's interesting. She says, I want to use a Japanese style toilet. So that means she is not Japanese. It means she is English. Or should I say she is American? Which is, again, funny because we get more context for this character later on. And she doesn't say Tasukete. She says help when she needs help. She says certain things in a very English manner, which I like that touch. So she's like, yeah, I'm going to use a Japanese style toilet. And she thought it'll be interesting. Now, mind you, this whole time we hear flushing. And I'm like, man, they're really trying to get this ambience. But as soon as she gets in here, it stops. The door slams behind her. And the black shadow comes from the toilet. Ooh, it's not doo-doo. It's Eyesmon just popping up. And it covers this whole stall. This thing, I'm telling you, the one thing I do give them credit for, freaking body horror. The spooky crap that they have humans be subjected to in this series is disturbing. So this thing goes into her eyes and peels off her blue eyes, slaps it on itself, goes inside her eyes again, and gives her red eyes. And I'm like, okay, don't know the significance of this lady, but okay. So we go to the crew. I'm not calling them the Lee Run Loo Lolly Lule Lows, whatever. To me, they're the crew. So we go to the crew, and Kiyoshiro is going, oh man, this girl who found my secret memoir about, Kiyoshiro, man, it was some type of embarrassing thing. And she, was threatening to publish it and put it out there on social media unless, he shows her around in Tokyo, right? Unless he shows her around. And apparently she was with him when he was doing the study abroad thing. And Jellymon's teasing him because she's like, oh, he had some bad experiences. I'm like, ha, ho, ho. But he's saying, hey, Hero, we cannot let her know about the Digimon or else, she's going to tell everybody, man. And he is kind of blowing it up just a little bit too much, but we'll get to that. So here's the thing that annoys me. Now, I said, I believe last week, I wish they did more two-parters, more episodes that had one half here, one half there. Now, this would have been another good one for Aizmon to just grip us and go, hey, people are gonna die or disappear if you don't get a handle on this. And this really does feel like an episode that should have been back before everybody turned Ultimates, but they did show how they are equipped to handle issues like this. So something I was going to take a point away from, I'll strike that from the record because they did show a good thing, right? Anywho, as he's saying all this, and Hero's like, okay, and Hero's going to go with him and help show her around. Excuse me, my word. Ruli's on this call and she's reading it, and Angramon, points at the screen, basically saying, you're gonna help, and she goes, I'm gonna say this before I take a drink of this LaCroix. What is the point of you all being a crew if you all just don't do anything? Or is it just, oh hey, we do whatever the heck I want because I'm Ruli and I guess I'm also being a boss? Or Kiyoshiro cries enough that we had to fix his problem. It seems like Hero is the only person that, unless his phone is taken out, which has happened before, he is consistently there. That is something I do find very, very, very interesting. So, I even said that in my notes too without looking. That's crazy. So now, her name's Emma. Her name's Emma Haynes, which is interesting given that a lot of blonde characters named Emma, and she might also be a play on Emma Stone, on the Emma Stone character, but that's neither here nor there. So she has on sunglasses and this time a big not puffy jacket, but looks like a bomber jacket. And he's like, hey, you're super duper covered up. And she's like, oh, you never paid attention to what girls were wearing. And she's basically pressing this whole entire time about him, whether he has a girlfriend. And one of the things she does say later, I'll get to that, but she's pressing on about it. And she asks Hero, oh, does he have a girlfriend? And she's like, you brought me to this famous Japanese dating spot. And he's like, actually, it said it was a dating spot in Japanese manga. And I'm like, so you got this from manga? Like, dude, I don't know if it's a language barrier, but are you a super weeb? Like, are you super smart, but you're a super weeb? Is that what I'm picking up with? I should have known that from the start, but I didn't think he would pick a spot just because it was actually, jokes on me, he probably would have done that. So, in this point, Jellymon and Gammamon are both people invisible, meaning that unless you got the band, you cannot see them. And as you know, they're going. It's funny because Jellymon points to Hiro's phone to show him the manga that that Kiyoshiro looked up, because even Hiro's like, "What manga did you get that from?" We hear a screech. Emma has to go to the bathroom, and she sees the eyes, and so like the eyes are popping up. She's like, "Oh, so I didn't imagine that." And she tries to peel it off, and it hurts her a little bit, and it doesn't come off. And suddenly, a flash or something, and she goes, "Yeah, I gotta find out what Kiroshiro's hiding." It's as if, well, what is happening is that her memories are constantly being reset by Aizmon. So let's keep going. And eyes are talking to her. They're like, "Hey, don't you want to know all his secrets?" That is what's going on during the flash. "Don't you want to know his secrets?" Ooh. And she's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna find the secrets." So Kiroshiro's trying to get a doll, this little magic lady doll, and she goes, "Hey, you getting it for your girlfriend?" Kind of makes him mess up, and I'm thinking, "Oh, he's getting it for Jellymon." He's like, "No, it's for my personal collection," which I can believe that is Kiyoshiro. He's the weeb, right? And so she believes that, first of all, she says she can hear a girl's voice, which she probably hears Jellymon. And she also believes that the programs he writes them with the girlfriend because they're too perfect. And I'm like, that is half true. Now, even though Jellymon tries to nod when he says he does it by himself, no, she does help. We have seen him help. He is very brilliant, but he does get help from his Digimon partner, lady, girlfriend thing. So, and now we're shown a patrolman that pushes his way into a lady's house. Like, "Oh, you don't have any cameras or anything? You don't have anything in here?" And we see an eye on this fool's neck. Or no, we see it on his cheek. And apparently, the anime, that this is such a funny thing. I don't know if they're doing this on purpose, like making fun of how most isekais have people turn into stuff as opposed to just setting it in a fantasy setting. It's called I got reincarnated as a university in another world. Oh my god. And apparently Hiro and Gammamon have watched it together, which, okay. I would not watch that show. Even though it sounds funny, I would not watch. I'll draw the line as at the time I got reincarnated as a sword. I draw the line at that. Anyway, more eyes are growing on her. They grow on her arms, on her other arm now. They're growing on her stomach. And, she even takes a sewing kit, get some scissors. They don't show us her stabbing it, but the scissors thrown across the floor. And she's like, she can't get them off. And it doesn't work. And she's like, going, I think this time she said Tosca tape. She's like asking for help, but it keeps pushing her to get his secrets. And I'm like, okay, Aizmon is pushing very nosy people to get more information, and that's how he is spreading. That is how it is growing. We even see the first chick on there. She had all the eyes, and even the eyes were standing up already, which is a very important fact. So, yeah. So she walks up as they get a message from Ruli. Ruli's like, "This is an emergency. We have to meet up right now." Like, okay, I guess this whole entire thing that they were doing was not an emergency. I guess it was just a favor, but they've done favors for Ruli before, so right. Anyway, so she calls them, and here's the funny part. Angoraman he's people invisible, and he's sitting down, and when Emma goes to sit, she almost sits on him. And they try to go, and even Angoraman is like, "Oh, what's going on?" Whatever. So they have a conversation talking about something called the red eye. And so the red eye, people's eyes start turning red. They start getting eyes all over their body. Someone sent this to her on the forum thing. This is how they get all their emissions. And she shows it. The lady has eyes on her back and on her stomach. And Emma's like, "Oh," because she has that on her now, right? And she's shaking. She's like, what happens? Well, soon the whites of your eyes turn red as well, and then your skin starts to peel away, and it starts falling, and then you just disappear. She stands up. "I'm going to the bathroom." This is the third time she's gone to the bathroom. No one's. I guess you can say she's going through lady issues, but the cool part is, and this is why you could have had Ruli there from the beginning. Ruli goes to the bathroom and checks up on her when she she's looking at all the eyes and she's like, I don't want to vanish. She knocks on the door. Even every time she goes in the bathroom, Aizmon's shadow is just behind her, everything. And she knocks on the door. She's like, you all right? And it's like something just it snaps in her, and it always makes her go back to that mode. Like, no, I'm cool. Hey, do you know, no dude has a girlfriend? And while she's saying this, Ruli sees an eye on her neck. And she's like, let me see your eyes right now. And she has the full red eye. Bring her out. The Digimon are not invisible anymore. And Kirishio's like, why didn't you tell me? And she's like, I forgot. And initially I go, that's dumb. But I'm like, oh, it makes her forget. And so flat out, they're like, he's like, hey, we're showing you them because this is the only way we can fix you. Angoramon's like, I can't identify if this is Digimon or what Digimon this is. And then the eyes start to raise up like the other girl, and Angoramon, and there's a massive shadow behind her with a big eye. This dude jumps up, does his rabbit rider kick, and little scatter mode Aizmon flees. And just from that, he's like, okay, yeah, it's Aizmon. Gathers data from the shadow. That's how it grows. That's how it gets bigger. And she's like, oh, I'm fine. And she doesn't remember anything. And Kirishio's like, he looks super concerned. And Angoramon's just like, it's removing parts of her memory just so it can continue to peep things through her. And Jellymon kind of pokes his cheek a little bit to get him to focus. And he asks the others, we got to help her. Let's figure out what we got to do. We got to fight a Digimon that loves shadows, and there's shadows everywhere. So, by the way, the other girl, the very first girl, she's almost dead. She's on the floor, and the eyes that were peeling off of her, they have turned into straight up shadows, and she sits in a dark room in the computer. Computer people don't do this. Anyway, no, I'm telling you guys, if you're computer people, don't do that. Just turn on some lights, y'all. I know it's supposed to be, it's not really better for your eyes. It really isn't. Anyway, so they figure, okay, they wrap up, her neck, her arms, her midsection, take off that coat. They wrap her up and funny enough, we see another woman who's like, has 3 screens in front of her. She's trying to get information. She has eyes popping up on her leg. We saw the patrolman that was crazy. We saw the other girl. There was one other person who was nutso crazy about that, being nosy and stuff. So now they have her wrap up and they say, you know what? We're going to have you close your eyes. We have to get a way of getting it out because it's seeing through her. Put her cap on. She closes her eyes. She's kind of doing the prayer thing. Big old shadow. It appears. Soon as it's time to go. they're getting ready to kick its butt. We get Jellymon, and Jellymon evolves, Angoramon evolves, so Tesla, Simba, Angoramon, but Gammamon stays the same. He's not doing it. So they're fighting, and as soon as the thing popped out, Kirishio did the double click. They're in that digital upside down area. They go to fight, and so this thing, Aizmon, because there's the Aizmon that's there, it's ducking through shadows. It's using their shadows, and it's fighting the Digimon through the shadows. And it does a move where it pulls things from other places that people are around and throws it at them through their shadows. So it's throwing freaking hot dog carts and stands, and it looks like it was throwing part of a building at Hero, which prompted Gammamon to turn into Winzen Gammamon, which now that knows he has a deep voice and kind of talks like this. I love it. I digress. It uses its abilities to shoot the stuff down. They're doing a really good job. Remember, Aizmon, while dangerous, is still a champion, which seems that its power is a little bit watered down compared to the Digimon Adventure 2020 reboot, where they full on needed 6 chosen children at a time? 7. They need 7 chosen Digimons to chosen fight it. Chosen. I think it was 6. I don't know if Angemon came back, but I'm just going to say 7. So this thing uses her body now to do the eye laser thing it has called Jangon. Fires the Jangon everywhere. And they use a slab. I think it was Angoramon that pulled it up. It was one of them pulled it up, and they're like, yeah, we got to get rid of, we have a light so bright that it gets rid of all shadows. And once again, Mon's like, leave that to me. turns into Kano Weissmon. Kano Weissmon didn't know he could do this. Starts generating a bright light. And he says, my light surpasses dimensions. I'm like, okay, I see you with your catchphrases. Literally burns all the shadows and it forces it to come out of her. And so now they do a Meteor Lux. Meteor Lux breaks it into more scatter modes. The Razor Wind ability that Simba and Gurumon does breaks it up further. And Tesla Jellymon does the final, I can't remember the real name of the punch, but does the final punch move, punches it, and all the eyes start going off of people everywhere. The girl that was halfway dead, whose eyes were practically already red and she's about to be gone, her stuff changes back. Everyone is saved. And I'm thinking to myself, awesome, you guys, hey. Now, so Emma about to fall. Kiyoshiro catches her, and Tesla Jellymon catches him. So this thing, they have this thing in one of those geraniums where, you know, sometimes you can put turtles, sometimes you can put pet insects. And he's like, you guys are mean. I was just helping humans get all the information that they wanted. And I'm like, but you were actively killing them too. And even Hero goes, this guy is a pretty big nuisance. And even not even, but Kiyoshiro goes, yeah, no wonder he latched on to her. She's super nosy. That's how it grows. We know it's information. And after Hero makes his point about being a nuisance, Angoromon goes, yeah, he needs to be sent to a community and heavily monitored. Okay, so a digi prison. I would have murdered him and turned him into something else, but okay, we'll do that. And Emma is straight up like, I just sensed it was Jellymon that was helping you. She's like, hey, darling couldn't do it without me. And while Emma goes, it would have been more interesting if it was actually a girlfriend, though. Kiroshiro's kind of confused. Emma moves in for the smooch onto his cheek. Everybody, the other four, are like, ooh. And Jellymon wraps her tentacle around his face, blocking the kiss. And she's like, hey, he's my darling. That means hands off. And it is the most adorable thing you have ever seen. Everybody but Gamamon is smiling because Gamamon's just like, oh, because he's a little kid. He's cute. He's learning, right? He's learning. And even Emma's smiling. And Angoromon goes, boils, rashes, and nuisances. We never forget what we learn young. That one made little sense. Little to no sense. Anyway, and then we get the ending thing of, her and Kiroshiro's cheeks smushing against, Jellymon's little jelly form. She's trying to get a selfie. So, a rival in love you have there, Jellymon. The Digifiles was basically, this thing was based off of the Dodomike, a yokai that is a woman who gets eyes that start to grow on her. And Kiyoshiro wasn't freaked out about the tale of that. He was going, I went overboard when she found out my secret. Gomenasai. I'm like, okay, whatever. Next episode is, what if you can get everything you wanted and it's not your birthday and it's not Christmas? Next episode is entitled Rust. Yes, just like the game. Yes, just like the movie. I also find it interesting that I did not read anything about Aizmon, but funny enough, it's also called a demon dragon. Did not know that myself. Let's just read a little bit about him. It's a Digimon capable of concealing itself in the shadows. The more data it accumulates, the stronger it becomes. That is how they did that. Because in the original, in 2020 reboot, it gathered the data about Tokyo to make the fake Tokyo, that if you hurt something there, right? That was interesting. I like the juxtaposition. That's not too bad. Its power surpasses even that of Perfect's, depending on how much it has stored. So this may seem watered down because it doesn't have a ton of data. Maybe if it actually took information of a city as opposed to taking information of people, could have been stronger. It possesses many eyes and does not turn a blind eye to any of the enemy's movements. Its special moves are cursed beams fired from all the eyes, and transforming the data is accumulated into objects and using them offensively and defensively, which is Janingan and Guggen. So it was a remix. I love that I'm actively learning that live while doing this video. I'm actually okay with that now. This episode, nevertheless, it gets a 4. It gets a low 4, but a high 3.5. Because I do feel that this should have been placed in maybe earlier, but what changed my mind was Weiss-Mon. You actually needed something that shone that brightly, because I don't think a massive beam cannon from Winzen's, railgun would have done that. So you know what? Bravo, you guys find another way how to creatively beat the Digimon, but you still didn't try to annihilate it. And on top of that, eventually, we're at 43. When is a plot gonna happen? When are we gonna get 2-parters, man? Just don't do this Yokai Watch level of things. I mean, at least there's not a fart Digimon. No, wait, we have dozens of poop Digimon. Literally dozens of poop Digimon. I'm okay with that. I just had to catch myself. Look, I need some 2-parters. I need something to ramp up. What I want does not take away from how interesting this actually was. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed seeing more peeks into people's backstories. Good on you. But yeah, not fantastic, but it wasn't dog crap. So let me know what you thought in the comment section down below, please. Do not forget to hit that like button. Subscribe if you aren't. Hit the notification bell, even if you are, because we're trying to get to the lucky number of 1,000. But you know what? We're this close to 200. I can taste it. Anyway, thank you everybody for taking some time out to spend some time with me. Please be good, be blessed. Wash those hands. Wear a mask. Be good to yourself, be good to others. Either way it goes, please don't be a jerk. Realize that you are never alone, and I will most definitely see you guys next time. I actively don't know what Digimon is going to be for next week, so that was fun. That is going to be fun.